Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another My Music. I say, oh, why am I saying yet another? By now, you will have known that I'm doing these on a regular basis. If you haven't come across me before, wow, that's amazing. Welcome for the first time. If it is your first time, you can go now and explore all of about 450 interviews with world-class musicians from all over the world, different genres, etc. I don't specifically go for any particular genre. I listen habit-wise to just about anything really, from sort of sub pop, electronica, jazz, folk, blues, you name it, I will listen to it. But it's all got to be one thing: good music, and as long as it's good, then it's okay with me. Today, I'll be finding out about the music of Lara Price, who sat opposite me here. Where are you coming from, Lara?
So I am based in Norwich, Norfolk.
Oh, a long way away from here because I'm in Somerset. That is about as far as you can go over the other side of the country. We'll be talking to Lara about the Norfolk Broads, music and all sorts. Straight after this little video from the lovely people at Analog Trash.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Lara, thank you so much for joining me. How are you? How was Christmas, New Year, and all of that?
Oh, Christmas and New Year. Christmas was quite busy. Had a lot of family time and everything. New Year's, I kind of just stayed up and I went, okay, time for bed now. But yeah, I mean, crazy to think that 2025 is here, really. I don't know where 2024 went. It sort of was just like, oh yeah, January, and then summer, and then back to Christmas again. It was just like, what?
There you go. I discovered you on Instagram.
Yes.
It's always quite interesting for people to know how I discovered them, unless obviously they're coming on plugged by a PR agency, and in which case they know how I know about them. But in your case, I discovered you by Instagram, and I'll tell you what I was doing. I was actually looking at a post by Blondshell at the time, and then it recommended you. Now that's interesting, isn't it?
Okay, nice. Okay.
Are you a fan?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, definitely.
Cool. What in terms of you as a listener of music? What's the span of what you listen to?
I mean, a lot of my friends know that, like, the playlists I listen to on like Spotify and everything, it is just a whole wide range of stuff. I listen to anything from sort of heavy metal to punk to rock to then EDM to then pop. It's just like, it is just a whole world of just different genres I listen to.
You have playlists. You have playlists. Do you have like multiple playlists? Do you have a single playlist?
It's a playlist that I just always like stick on like when I'm driving and stuff, and then when all my friends are with me, it's just like we always just sort of have a karaoke sort of session in the car, that kind of thing. But I also spend time listening to sort of like new artists, local artists as well, that are sort of near my area and stuff. So there's a couple of songs from a few artists that I know who are on my like playlist as well, which is quite cool.
That's cool. So you're quite influenced by peers as much as you are by
yeah, for sure.
No, that's brilliant. What's the scene like over that part of the world?
It's unbelievable. I mean, Norwich is a very small city compared to the likes of like maybe Manchester, Birmingham, London, all that sort of stuff. But genuinely speaking, Norwich has such a wide variety of artists, bands, and at the end of the day, I don't think a competition. I feel like it's all about supporting others. And I think that's just what Norwich is. We all are here to support each other and all that sort of stuff. There's plenty of awesome venues. So I tried to spend time going to some gigs and everything, and watching the audience and try and mosh in the crowd if it's like a heavy sort of gig. But I just take it all in, I don't really, I filmed like a couple of like moments, but I just take it all in usually. So
yeah, What's the last gig you went to?
I've been to so many. I think the last one I went to is at a venue called Voodoo Daddy Showroom, which is in Norwich. They put on like a whole wide range of new upcoming artists. I mean, not necessarily even from Norwich as well. They put on like obviously other artists from all over the border, really. But yeah, I think I went to see Damp Matches, who were like the headliners, and they are so incredible, so fun, so good.
Do I need to get them on here?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely recommended.
I need to be writing this down. Damp Matches. It's a great name, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, Damp Matches. I mean, not very effective, Damp Matches. So it's quite an interesting name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know where they? I'm going to focus on you, but do you know where they came up with that as a name? What?
No, I don't. So I only just sort of went there because like one of my friends also like is a big fan of them as well. But I don't actually know sort of where they got the name from or anything. But all I know is that their music is just really awesome.
Yeah. Well, so's yours.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who makes your music? Is it purely you? Are there other people involved?
So it's been a bit of a sort of roller coaster, really, because the last couple of years that I've been doing music, I've been obviously like working with a producer in Norwich. He's called Gavin Bowers, but his company's like Catch 21 Records, and I've just been going there to sort of write my music and everything. And a lot of the instruments, so like the guitar, the bass, is usually just from me and all that sort of stuff. With my newest song, Migraines, we used a bit more sort of proper live instruments, so like amp setups and everything, instead of using like plugins and all that sort of stuff. So, and I actually recorded drums for that track as well, live drums, which was really fun.
Did you play the drums?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You're a bit of a talent then. You're a real spot-on multi-instrumentalist then, aren't you?
Yeah. I usually put that in like my bio, just like multi-instrumentalist and alt-rock singer-songwriter, that kind of thing. But I'm hoping with the new songs, I'm actually doing some writing of some new stuff at the moment. It's sort of coinciding with like my uni project, but also my stuff as well. And I'm hoping for my band, I have a live band who usually help me out with like the gigs and stuff. And hopefully we're going to take it further into the studio there. But I'm thinking of slightly changing my sound into a kind of like a heavier kind of vibe. So,
right. Cool.
So that's like the plan.
Okay. So now listen. So you're at university still at the moment?
Yeah.
Studying? I presume you're studying music production or
music performance.
Music performance, right. Okay. What year are you in?
So I'm in my third and final year now.
Getting serious now, right?
Yeah, it's quite a full-on year. It's quite full-on. Story about this actually. So I'm at an Access Creative College in Norwich, but it's basically they've put on like this degree course thing, and the degree course is under Nottingham Trent University. Right. But because I've lived in Norfolk all my life and everything, uni never really came across my mind in a sense until I came across the degree course, because I didn't really want to make a huge step sort of moving away at the time, because I just had so many people here that I didn't want to leave behind, that kind of thing. So keeping it nice and local to me is just so ideal.
That's great. No, it's great that you found a sort of vehicle into, furthering yourself education wise. And when did you start doing all of this? Because you must have played an instrument from a fairly young age, surely.
Yeah. I mean, my story sort of started with like singing. Like I did choir in like infants and junior school, but we didn't really learn how to like properly sing in that sense. It was just like getting all together and just learning songs, that kind of thing. Yeah. We'll go with that. So I
always
did
love it when I mean at Christmas time, I go and sing in at school doing the performance. And whatever. And it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That they get kids up there. Kids of a certain age, they just shout.
Yeah.
They don't sing.
It's just really adorable, really wholesome in my eyes. It's generally really, really sweet. But I think sort of from then on, I moved into high school, and I think when I first started, I started in some proper like vocal lessons with a teacher and everything for about a year. And then from then on, in one of my music sort of like separate sort of lessons, you know, as a class kind of thing, my music teacher brought in her electric guitar one day, and she just played. I don't know what she played. I can't remember because it was quite a while ago, but I just remember just falling in love with the instrument. I think I might have been about 12 at the time.
Nice.
And so little kid me asked my parents, being like, can I have a guitar for Christmas? So I got my very first acoustic little guitar. I still have it. It's in my bedroom somewhere. And yeah,
I bet you still go back to that from time to time, don't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't ever want to get rid of it because it's like my first guitar, and you know, it's so special to me in so many different ways. So from then on, I mean, I didn't really play the guitar as frequent as what I should have at that time. But I think I started to realize a couple of years later that I was actually playing it, like playing chords and actually getting the hang of it. And I was like, right, I need to keep going. And then from then on, I was playing like guitar for like however many years. I might have been 14 at the time when I started taking it seriously. And then we did a couple of like little high school gigs in front of the whole school, which involves me doing like the really cool like high school band stuff with my old friend of mine, and we were just like doing Green Day sort of covers and stuff like that, rocking on. You know, I also had like my new electric guitar at the time, which was like an SG. It's like on this wall over here somewhere. And then from then on, I applied to Access Creative College to do a level 3 music performance course, and I got in for that. And then the first year, I didn't really sort of write music at that time because I was just taking it all in, like what college was basically all about. And then I think sort of the year 2021 was when I started taking things really seriously when I was in college. I think I was second year college at that time. And from then on, it's just been sort of just constantly writing music and just doing gigs because it's so much fun. You
just given me a memory actually there for a minute, because I remember when our eldest was sort of just leaving school, and they did a sort of like leavers thing where and you know, showing off sort of talent from the school or whatever, and there was a couple of kids from his year, a singer and a guitarist, both really fantastic. And they got up and they did some real good rock numbers, including Foxy Lady.
Okay.
Right, but an incredibly risque version of it as well, and you just sort of saw the audience and the looking at the teachers really to think, how are they feeling about this? You know? But you know, it was fine. You know, I think you get to a certain age in school, it's okay to swear and stuff like that, which is fine. Never was in my day. Back in my day, you know, if you were going to do a performance like that, you know, you'd be doing Ave Maria or something like that. It wouldn't be allowed to do anything quite like that. But no, there you go. So, what's the ambition for you? I mean, you know, do you at some point want to? Do you want to continue to pedal yourself as a singer songwriter? Do you see yourself as always, you know, maintaining sort of a solo career, whatever? Do you want to find a band? Do you want to? Where do you see it going?
Well, I did back in like 2021. I started off with like solo gigs, which basically involved my original songs, but in a nice sort of laid back, chilled back thing. But then 2022 was when I wanted to get my band sort of together. So it was like a bunch of like college friends with me at the time. And I've had sort of members like come and go for like the last few months and everything. But I'm primarily sort of coming away, hopefully, from the solo stuff and focus on like the band stuff, because I do like playing acoustic stuff. It's so nice and it's so fun, and every gig that I've done with my solo acoustic stuff, it's been genuinely just really lovely.
But you've got a big voice, right?
Yeah, and you know, it's just nice to maybe pull in a couple more covers in that sort of sense alongside my original, so it's like a mix of both, you know, that kind of thing, just to get the crowd going. But there's just something about playing live with a band that's just so much more of a vibe, and you just get to like rock out more, especially with the genre of music that I sort of write, very rocky, kind of alt rock sort of vibes.
Yeah.
It's just, you're just jumping around with the crowd, getting the crowd moving, that kind of thing, and just having a great time.
When you look at the great alt rock kind of bands, etc., of the past or even of the present, who sort of stands out for you in terms of not necessarily just the music, but the vibe? Who would you want to vibe with? Or if you're now putting together a band, what would you want it to feel like?
It's really tricky because, like I said, I'm aiming towards like more of a kind of, it's kind of like a heavier sound, so like very drop D kind of heavy riffs, that kind of thing. There's a lot of people, like bands that I've seen in Norwich, like I'll say a couple like Chicanes, Settlements, like a few other bands and stuff. They're always just like really heavy, and I just love it. I just rock around and always moshing in the crowd, that kind of thing, and I just kind of want my sound to like obviously not be the exact same as theirs, but like just sort of inspired by that kind of sound, that kind of thing.
Having said that, some of the stuff you've put out is quite accessible at the same time. I mean, you've obviously got an ear for melody and and in a sense, a pop tune as well. So how do you feel about the sort of balance between creating something that's on the one hand entirely what you want to put out there and going in a direction, but not knowing that it's not necessarily going to be as commercial, and wanting to create something that perhaps more people will have access to? Do you think it will just you'll naturally just find the balance there between that? Or
because I'm sort of just in the process with my music, just kind of experimenting in that sense. So a lot of the songs that I've released sort of previously, like I said, sort of songs such as Shadows, Mind Blocks, and my Pink Beanie EP, sort of kind of have hits of like grunge and then the alt rock, indie rock kind of vibe, but then kind of the pop sort of stuff in there. It's like a whole range of stuff, really. The Migraines, I think, with, like I said, the live instruments, it just sounds a lot broader, beefier kind of thing. So I'm just experimenting with different sounds at the moment and just seeing what I think is my vibe and what I want to do for the future, that kind of thing. So like I said, with this with these new songs I'm currently writing at the moment, they're quite, I wouldn't say they're like insanely heavy or anything. It's just like drop D kind of guitar sort of riffs and stuff, and it's I don't know how to explain it. I feel like it's just a lot more sort of rocky and punchier and stuff, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, just if it sort of experimenting with different things and sounds and just seeing where it goes from there.
As an artist that's on the sort of cusp of going into the big bad world out of education, which is kind of scary.
Yes.
How are you approaching sort of like the financial aspect of this? Wanting to carry on, obviously being a musician, putting art out there, writing new songs, finding a vehicle for all of that, but obviously, potentially at some point paying the rent and feeding yourself and whatever as well. How are you looking at that in terms of balance and what that might look like?
It's difficult because like I obviously know that is going to be a very real thing and probably like a very huge challenge for me later on in life, and I haven't really thought too much about it, which I probably should, but because I've just been so like primarily focused with university trying to get that done, because like I'm still like kind of unsure. Well, obviously I want to do music sort of full time if I can, if it gets to that point and gets to that stage where I'm that known to the point I can make a sort of sustainable income, that kind of thing. But at the moment I'm just kind of just taking it as I go, writing stuff, putting things out there, doing the gigs, and just seeing what comes about with it and seeing how the success goes. Obviously this year's a new year, anything can sort of happen,
Look, we hope that you never have to think about the boring job type thing or whatever, but I just because you're here and then because I can ask you these questions or whatever, for me I think it's quite interesting. Do you think that actually that is something that perhaps they ought to be teaching as part of university courses or whatever that are more in the creative arts, is perhaps getting people in to talk about what different sort of sustainability models might look like in terms of allowing artists to pursue what they want to do once they leave.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we've sort of touched upon it like every now and then, but I feel like not enough for me, for like a lot of people to remember. Because I mean, we've obviously spoken about things like sort of PRS, all different things and all that sort of stuff, and different ways of sort of pursuing music and with the income sort of stuff. But I feel like, again, it's just not talked about enough. So yeah, I think it needs to be like a broader sort of subject, you know, that kind of thing.
I think it should. I think, you know, people, it would be useful for young artists like you, for if people could come in and go, well, my sustainability model looked like this. I did this kind of part-time work, and that allowed me to do this, and you know, I could do that as part of this. And someone else go, well, I managed to make money over here doing this, and you know, that this was another option, that you could get involved in doing this, or you know, there's grants available with this or whatever. All of those different options would be really useful, I think, actually, so that that people could kind of make choices as to what they do for the rest of their life. I didn't mean to scare you for the rest of your day, by the way. Ignore it all, and hopefully it will all go away. You'll just be successful.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you could, you mentioned some great local acts, which is great. I mean, it's always great when people do that. But if you could find yourself in a year or so's time from now, you've got the trajectory going in the right going in the right direction, and you're making the kind of music that you want, that heavier kind of music. If you could find yourself on a support tour with someone out there that's made it at the moment, who would that be then?
So as in like me supporting someone else, that kind of thing. Okay. That's really difficult. I mean, I've always wanted to support there's a band called South Arcade. They're quite popular at the moment. They're playing Reading Festival this year, I think, actually, as well, which is quite cool. In terms of like maybe a famous sort of band, for some reason I just love The Darkness. I'm seeing them twice this year. And ironically, I think they are actually from sort of Suffolk, so it's literally like maybe an hour drive away from me. So it's kind of like crazy to think that they have sort of grown up from there to then do music, you know, the way they do and everything. I think supporting The Darkness would be so fun, so cool.
Absolutely. Do you think for you, would that be the pinnacle, that you know that you've made it when you appear on Justin Hawkins's podcast?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'd be sort of just like thinking little kid me. It's like a dream, you know, that kind of thing. I think it'd be so surreal, to be brutally honest, if I was speaking to Justin Hawkins like right here, right now.
There you go. Well, just hold on a minute, Justin. If only we could make that happen.
If only.
It's one of the best podcasts that's come out in recent years, that, without a shadow of a doubt. I think what's nice about it is that there are a lot of music things out there. I mean, it's one of the things that I tried to do with this as well. You know, growing up, I loved listening to John Peel. I loved all of the stuff that Jules Holland's done, where, you know, basically he's open to finding out about all sorts of musicians from all sorts of walks of life and whatever. And I feel Justin Hawkins is kind of picking up that mantle in a lot of ways as well, and continuing it, because he, you know, he doesn't have a sort of he doesn't discriminate against any particular kind of genre, and you know, he'd genuinely say, I really don't like that, and I really do like that. And I think that's I think that's really kind of cool. So yeah, and I think there's so many of these kind of music podcasts which either just ask people the same stupid questions every single time, and don't have a proper conversation with someone, or they they really kind of hone in on a particular genre, and I think they're kind of missing a trick, really. So
yeah,
for me,
sure.
it's kind of one of the better ones. There we go. Justin, if you're listening, Darkness, year's time. What will you have ready by then? Hopefully, what do you, if you can put yourself in this seat in sort of 12 months from now, what would you hope to by then have achieved in terms of a body of work?
Well, first thing, sort of uni graduation, that kind of thing. I want to get that out of the way, past that, get everything I done with that, and then move on from that. I want to hopefully have 5-6 track EP out by that time. Maybe even something else, if like depending on how much music I can write this year and everything. To hopefully expand sort of out of Norfolk, Suffolk borders, so maybe playing places like London, Cambridge, up and down sort of the UK. Bristol, yeah, okay, yeah, that's
a long way. It's a long way, but
oh yeah, but it'd be worth it. It'd be so worth it. Yeah, I think just all in all, just expanding my audience, because I'm still sort of like, again, sort of stuck in like Norfolk, Suffolk at the moment. I'm starting to hopefully branch out a lot more this year into different like areas of the UK. So fingers crossed.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, that kind of geographic thing is quite interesting as well, because I think until artists start to spread their wings a little bit and move out of different areas and find, actually visit different areas, and potentially even different countries as well.
Yeah.
The last interview that I did for this was with an American artist, and we were talking, and he's discovered that, like, his biggest audience is from Holland, for example, and so therefore now he wants to go. He wants to go and play Holland, and he wants to play Germany, and he wants to come to the UK. And he said it's actually better for him than the States. And he's kind of leaving an audience behind there, really. But I think that's quite interesting, that until you get out and about, you don't necessarily know. You might come across to the southwest of England, or you might go up to somewhere like Manchester and find that suddenly you've got, with your music, and suddenly find you've got a scene, you've got something there that's completely behind you. And that can skyrocket your career, really, as well. You can suddenly find not to say that the people of Norfolk don't appreciate your music at all.
Oh, no.
But you'll take those people with you anyway, because
of course, for sure. And that is the dream, sort of, to do places in the bigger cities of the UK. I think that'd be really, really, really fun. Meeting new people, networking, that kind of thing. I've always enjoyed doing that and sort of stuff. So,
well, I really hope that happens for you in 2025.
Thank you.
And beyond. I did just really sort of, before we go as well, and I want to just let you give mention to what you've got, music that you've got out at the moment, so people can go and dig it and download it and stuff like that as well. But with the going back to the student thing quickly as well.
Yeah.
How difficult is that for you in terms of headspace when you're obviously doing a degree that's music based, and therefore you're producing stuff that's kind of, as you say, like project based and whatever, as part of what you're doing or whatever? How much does sometimes it feel like this is schoolwork and then it's mine, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster, because obviously with this particular module that I'm doing, product and performance development, which is one of the main modules, this basically ties in with like the whole writing music, recording it and performing it live. Basically, the project involves writing 25 minutes worth of material, and like I said, so I'm thinking probably about 5-6 songs worth, which will tie in hopefully to like maybe a 5-6 track EP, to then fully record it and then performing it live. So I think we're doing like a big gig performance at the end of sort of May sort of time, which is when everything else is also due in at the same time. I'm also doing 2 other modules, one of which involves sort of branding and marketing, so like a whole load of social media stuff. So I think I'm going to tie in sort of the 5-6 track EP, like a proper sort of release plan, that kind of thing. And then I'm also doing a creative investigation essay, which is like 7.5k word, like essay kind of thing, of a subject that I get to talk about within music. I think I'm talking about like DAW software, but from a performance perspective. So like how like performers record their music, their techniques, their different ways, that kind of thing. I think that'd be quite interesting to write about.
Listen, if you're watching this and you're a musician, because there's loads of musicians that watch this, and you want to help out, get in touch.
Yes, yes, please do.
There you are.
Yeah,
That's the thesis. All you need to do is volunteer and say, "Oh, yeah, I'll be interviewed."
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think with all the written stuff, yeah, it does get a bit like annoying, and sometimes it just impacts my motivation, because I'm just a bit like, oh, do I really have to do this? Do I really have to? Sometimes, you know, especially with like the essay sort of stuff, because I sort of just, when I'm trying to write an essay, I don't know where to start, and until I've started, I just constantly just sort of leave it. But when I'm actually in the swing of it, I then sort of think a little bit more into it, and then I start writing more and that sort of stuff.
But do you think in a way it prepares you for the fact that obviously, you know, once you're out there, you've got to, you know, once you've produced your music, that is only the start of it anyway. So you've got to sell it, you've got to put it out there, you've got to do everything else. So in a way, it creates like a work ethic around the music, as opposed to, you know, back in the day when we were in bands, back in the 90s.
Yeah.
We were just in bands because we wanted to make a racket. And with a bunch of friends, and ultimately, business wise, we didn't have a clue. So, you know, it was it was literally, we were, you know, back of a van, from, you know, pub to pub, club to club, 50 quid here, 50 quid there.
Yeah.
Save up a bit, go into a recording studio, get absolutely fleeced, record something, put it on a tape, hopefully get it to somebody that might care, you know. And it was that, you know, we didn't have the internet or anything like that. So
I was gonna say, yeah.
It was all very Heath Robinson, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of like tying that in kind of my essay as well. My tutor suggested, oh, you should do you should talk about the comparison between maybe a song recorded on tape, so where you can't literally see anything that's in front of you, and can maybe do another song with like the whole screen in front of you, so you can see what you're doing, you know, and see what like the advantages and disadvantages are, you know, that kind of thing. I think that'd be really interesting, because it sort of shows like how technology has evolved over the years and all that sort of stuff as well.
See, having done both,
yeah,
and you'll probably find this from a lot of older artists, but I still prefer recording to tape.
Yeah,
I still prefer sort of like, you know, it was literally, I actually enjoyed the fact that you couldn't change things.
Yeah, it was sort of like, you know, you do it, and
you do it, and then what you do is you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and someone would go, that will be it, that's the take, and you just have to accept that was the take.
Yeah, so it's kind of, until you see the sort of the final product, you know, you just hope for the best, I guess.
You had no idea.
Yeah, for sure.
You literally had no idea, and then you'd be sat there, you know, in a listening room, and it suddenly be played back to you, and you'd either go, whoa, or you go, you know, but that was it, you know.
Wow, that's crazy. Because in terms of obviously like a DAW sort of perspective, where you see everything in front of you, you can gauge, you can say, oh no, that wasn't the right take, you can delete it and then do it again, you can actually see what you're doing, you know, and that kind of thing. So, but I am intrigued to see what it would be like recording on takes. I've never done it before. So.
And actually, I think the rawer you get with that, the better.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually think if you get yourself a little like Tascam 4-track, which you can pick up for next to nothing now on eBay or whatever, and you literally put a cassette tape in, and you know, plug in a guitar and do one track, and then do a vocal track, and then bit of
Yeah.
piano or bit of bass and whatever, and then it's like, boom, that's it. It's
Yeah.
you suddenly realise that that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's really cool.
You know, that's it. That's what's going out the door. And I think actually learning to live with your imperfections is a really great thing as well.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
You know, and maybe it speeds. I've talked to some artists, including some fairly big artists, that say actually, in a way, doing that process and learning to live with your imperfections actually then speeds up the process, because, you know, you then, even if you go back to digital, you go, do you know what? I'll leave that.
Yeah.
I'm actually happy there. I'm gonna leave that in because it's more interesting.
I guess it shows like the true colours as well, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Folks, this has been the wonderful Lara Price talking about her wonderful music. If you haven't checked it out already, you do need to go and check out an amazing voice and an amazing player of music.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much.
You really could be, you know, one of the big stars of next year, if you know what I mean. Where would you like people, in terms of if you were going to like push something that you've done so far that I can put on the My Music podcast playlist, which I will do for you, but also that other people might go and put on their playlists as of today, so that you get that pushed up? What would you like us to all add?
Well, definitely my Spotify, Apple Music, that kind of thing, under Lara Price. My newest release is called Migraines, so definitely check that one out.
Fantastic song. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much. Obviously, I do have other songs as well, such as Shadows, Mind Blocks, Heatery, and my Pink Beanie EP. So listen to all if you wish, or, you know, that kind of thing. But in terms of social media, you can check me out on sort of Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at Lara_LP_music.
There you go. That has been done. You will go and do that. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in today and talking to us, and we wish you all the best for the future, folks.
Thank you so much.
What a great start to the new year. Two guests down and loads more to go. We're going to continue this. We're going to push this out as far as we can push it over the next year. Let's see. I'm excited to get past the 500 mark. That will be brilliant. I will try and get a big guest in for 500.
Nice.
I don't know who it will be yet, but I will contact all of the PR companies and whatever and see who we could get in for the 500th episode of this when we get to it. If you enjoy my music, just remember there is now mymusicpodcast.com where you can go and find the podcast, and that makes it easier for you to share it with other people as well. They can pick it up there on Spotify or Apple Music and all of those other things as well. And there is a support club now as well. My business is called A Better Way of Life, and I've started a support club. It's £10 a month. Don't just go in there and get absolutely nothing. I'm in there teaching kind of digital skills on a daily basis, like how I put together things like this show, how I do things with cameras, video editing, sound editing, etc. How I use AI to write blogs and all of that sort of thing. So if you want to support the show and be part of that community of people that are all learning together in there as well, you can go and do that. That's at abetterwayoflife.co.uk. We'll be back soon with more of the same. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye for now.